Hello everyone, and welcome to the sideboard, the StarCityGames.com Atlanta Invitational. Gerard, Fabiano, commentator, professional Magic player, awesome guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
I had to kind of work on the third one.
Yeah, you did. You're like, what else? Okay, awesome guy. We'll give him. Why not?
All right, Gerard. So you're playing for Standard, Green-White Aggro, which is a deck that won a Standard Open not too long ago. I believe it was in Denver.
Yeah, it was Denver. Yeah.
Yep. So why do you think Green-White Aggro was the deck to go with for the Invitational?
I don't necessarily think it's the deck to go with.
Okay.
I didn't want to play Delver. I feel people are prepared for Delver. Even if people say that their matchup versus Delver is, unfavorable, it's, might not be the case. But people know how to play against Delver and they know what cards to expect. With Green-White Aggro, it's a fast deck. You can just, bust out a big threat like Mirror Crusader, Restoration Angel, Hero of Bladehold. And people might not really know, how to play against it, if they should try to go long game, if they should try to race me.
Sure.
So it kind of brings a different element to the to Standard.
It's really just valuing the ability to be significantly more aggressive. You're giving up a fair bit of disruption, but you've got more threats.
Yeah.
And you've got some really potent ones in Sword of War and Peace and Ajani, Caller of the Pride.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely true. And against Delver, lots of times they have creatures like Augur Bolus or Snapcaster Mage. So if you play like a mid-range type deck, because I was working on a Bant version, those cards are actually good against you because they, chip away at your life total and you're kind of playing more defensively. But if you're the aggressor, a 2/1 body isn't going to really stand in the way, and Snapcaster is just 2 mana, flashback target card.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about playing this deck into a field that you can be sure is going to be pretty rife with Delver?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair matchup versus Delver.
Okay.
The mental missteps here definitely help out, and just being able to play one of your, best creatures, not only in this deck but in Standard, with Cavern of Souls protection, that's super nice because some Delver decks still play, 2, 3, some even play 4 mana leaks.
Sure. So you went with 3 main deck mental misstep, and I'm just curious as to the deck building decision that went into that. Like, hey, did you inch towards it? Did you have like 1 main deck and then 2 and then 3?
No,
or?
I actually just started with 3.
Okay.
I just figured that if I have a turn 1 Pilgrim or a turn 1 Bird of Paradise, I want to accelerate to my bigger creatures or my Johnny or my Sword, that they're definitely going to have Gut Shot. So I want to be able to protect my 1 mana spell. Sure. Then later on in the game, when I want to attack them with the hero, they're probably going to have Vapor Snag. So if I'm holding onto a misstep, that could definitely be a surprise, and it could win me the game.
And it's worth noting that in Green Mirrors, the mental misstep often will be like a Gut Shot itself, killing their mana dork. Whereas against Delver, you're using it more as the actual mental misstep, protecting your guy, because you don't really need a Gut Shot in that matchup. Yeah,
exactly. I know Standard's rotating, fairly soon, but you'll probably still see a lot of Delver and Delver Mirror matches. And even in that match, people play Gut Shot over misstep, which I think, might be not correct, just because misstep hits Ponder, hits Snag.
Yeah.
Lots of times people keep a 1-land pondered hand, and then if you misstep, you can just get a free win sometimes.
One of the cards I'm excited to see on your list is Mirror Crusader. It seems like a great pick if people are not playing Delver, they're almost certainly playing zombies or green decks.
Yes.
Are you pretty excited to be playing with the Mirror Crusader?
Yeah, Mirror Crusader is definitely good against those decks, zombies, finding as Nyapod, and even against Delver, it just stands in the way of a Geist Stain Draft.
Right.
So yeah, Mirror Crusader is powerful. If you notice my list, I am not playing any Rancors. And I actually spoke with my one friend, Austin Fritz, who did well with Green-White at one of the Opens. And our original list had 4 Rancors. And then I think I was saying, maybe we should play 3. And he's like, I don't know, maybe. And then I didn't talk to him for a couple days, and he showed up, and I showed up, and we both have 0 Rancors. So, yeah, I think Rancor is not right now for the format. Maybe once, Vapor Snag goes away and there's less Delver, Rancor could get better, especially with better creatures. But for now, I think Rancor sits on the sideline.
It's a card that's a lot better when your opponent's actually trying to block, which not a lot of decks in Type 2 are doing right now.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. We've got a lot of Phyrexian mana already in the main deck, as we covered. We got the mental missteps. You also have a Dismember. Yes. Moving over to the sideboard, we have even more of New Phyrexia's finest, as I like to say.
More New Phyrexia stuff. We have 2 Gut Shots, another misstep. Active Aggression is a strong card versus any deck that's trying to drop a big creature on you, such as Wolf Run, or some people might still play Fritz, or just a big creature deck you might see.
You've got your Thragtusks on the sideboard also. It's kind of a little unconventional to not have any Thragtusks in the main deck. I think it probably seems fine for this tournament. Do you find yourself having to bring them in when you bring in all the Phyrexian mana spells also, though?
No, I mean, sometimes versus the Nyapod decks, I'll board a couple of these in. Sometimes I'll bring a Thragtusk. Just in general, for me, I kind of never really sideboard the same way. And I never really have an exact plan. So, I mean, sometimes Thragtusk will come in with the Phyrexian mana spells, which is definitely nice because I'll recruit some of my life loss or lost life, however you want to phrase it. But yeah, I mean, it's a strong card, and you could also gain life with Sword and War and Peace.
Good to point out.
Yeah.
You've got your Planeswalkers in the sideboard. You have 2 Gideon Jur and a Garruk. I think it's safe to say those are mostly for against like mid-rangey or creature matchups, or some control decks as well.
Yeah.
What are you generally cutting, do you think, for the top end cards?
For the top end cards, it depends. Sometimes versus, say, a Solar Flare type deck, something like Mental Misstep isn't very good against them.
Sure.
Their big spells are like 3, 4, 5 mana and whatnot. So missteps could definitely go. I sometimes trim on my creatures. I could always cut a hero. I could cut like 1 or 2 Mirror Crusaders. Sometimes Dahlia isn't good, but usually against Esper it is. You could trim a Visionary. I tend to do a lot of trimming, so it's you kind of want to keep your mana curve not too expensive. So you might cut like a Geist Honor Monk in return for a Gideon or whatnot. So just kind of think about it in your head when you're sideboarding on the spot. No rocket science or anything. Yeah.
Do you find it kind of difficult to play Thalia alongside all these Phyrexian mana spells?
I mean, not really. It's like sometimes it just dies, sometimes it doesn't. It's the best thing about Magic is every game is different. So yeah, some games you'll have Thalia and you'll have gut shot, and Oblivion Ring, and you're like, oh man, Thalia's kind of hurting me. But you could always not play Thalia, and it's just
you've got the option.
Yeah, you have the option and stuff. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, one more card I'll talk about because it's one I personally like a lot.
Is it?
I think it's gonna be real nice when we get some Return to Ravnica involved.
Would you consider yourself a green-white expert?
No, I would not. I would not go.
If
so
you had
far.
to pick 2 colors,
bold.
What would it be?
Oh, if I had to pick 2, I mean, I have to go with red for sure. For
red? Okay.
I like to light it up.
All right. Well, I have some red cards here.
You do have some red, so yeah.
Probably make you happy.
I got to be honest. Green and white are probably not on the list.
Okay.
I'm not making the short list of 5.
Sure. All right. So what's your card?
Sublime Archangel. I really like this one.
Yeah, it's definitely a super powerful card, and I don't know my prices too well, but I think it might be the most expensive card, and nobody really plays it. So it's kind of weird. It's like, why is this card so expensive? It's a mythic. Nobody's really playing it, and it's super powerful. It's I just threw one in, and I was playing against my friend Ryan, and he was playing Delver, and it just came down, and it was even good against Delver, where you think like they have snag for your one Exalted guy attacking, but it could just end games really quick. And I think definitely with future sets or Return from Ravnica, Archangel will probably make a big hit.
Yeah, I think the loss of Vapor Snag is going to be huge, and in this deck where you've already got access to 4 Mental Missteps, like just forcing through 1 Sublime Archangel hit, especially with the right creature. Mirror Crusader?
Yeah, double strike.
Can be a real big deal.
Yeah, Reed actually put in a nice interaction between Sublime Archangel and Garruk.
Oh.
So you can attack, make it a
gigantic.
Yeah, and then draw 10 cards. So yeah, that would probably be pretty nice if it happened.
All right, well, hopefully it will.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and get you back into the Invitational.
Yep.
So thanks for coming.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.